Do nothing and win with the interview trivia game Don't Ask. Text the word WIN to 855-904-6231 to enter. Win radios, gift cards, wine bags, or even a celebrity voice on your voicemail. Text WIN to 855-904-6231 now to enter. Shut up.
It's time for Caribbean News, covering current events from around the world, regionally and locally, with Sean Garrity on this station. It's news the Caribbean can use. And now, the details. Belize's Public Service Union criticizes government mandatory vaccination policy. The president of the Public Service Union, or the PSU, Dean Flowers, has described as discrimination the decision by the Belize government to have public officers show proof that they have been vaccinated against COVID-19 by December 15 or face the risk of being marked absent from work and subject to disciplinary action. A circular from the Public Service Constitutional and Political Reform states that for the safety of all public officers and the public service, it has been decided that all essential workers and other public officers must be vaccinated by December 15, 2021. The circular said as of that date, all public officers must show proof that they have been vaccinated either fully or first shot only. Managers are therefore advised that rapid test or PCR tests will no longer be accepted. Failure to provide a copy of the vaccination card by December 14, 2021 will result in a public officer not being allowed into the office. Flowers said the union is in receipt of the memo saying it is an instruction handed down by our dictatorial colleagues or friends or ministers coming out of cabinet. The PSU president has also criticized the private sector for adopting what he termed double standard regarding the vaccination program. He said that the business community had objected loudly to similar measures being imposed on employees within the private sector, but that it seemingly supports that position being taken by the government for all public officers to be vaccinated by mid-December. Belize has recorded 548 deaths and 29,269 positive cases of the coronavirus dating back to March of last year. St. Kitts and Nevis opens embassy in Abu Dhabi. St. Kitts and Nevis has opened an embassy in Abu Dhabi with Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris saying that it will help in the strengthening of relationships between the Caribbean community and the United Arab Emirates, or the UAE. A government statement said that Harris, who is attending the Expo in 2020 in Dubai, signed the agreement with the Minister of State in Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the UAE, Khalifa Shireen Al Marar. The opening of the Federation's embassy in Abu Dhabi, which was previously delayed as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, will help in strengthening the relationship between the governments and peoples of St. Kitts and Nevis and the UAE, according to the statement. Earlier, Prime Minister Harris said that the Federation's participation in Expo 2020 provides visitors more than just a glimpse of the cultural and heritage aspects of the country. In entertainment, Sean Paul and Sia have never met in person. Dancehall superstar Sean Paul has revealed that he still has not met Australian singer-songwriter Sia in person, even though he has collaborated with her on 2 major songs in 5 years. Sean Paul and Sia recently released the visuals for their second collaboration, Dynamite, which comes 5 years after their mega hit in 2016, Cheap Thrills, so it might come as a surprise for many that the duo has not yet met face-to-face. In a recent interview with British GQ, Sean was asked about the first time he met Sia, during which he said an actual meeting with the 45-year-old has never transpired. Sean told GQ that it was ironic that his mother, who had introduced him to old-school artists bands such as the Beatles, Cat Stevens, and ABBA as a youngster, was now in his older years telling him about a younger artist whom he had never heard of back then. In July of 2016, Cheap Thrills ascended from number 3 to the number 1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100, unseating Canadian rapper Drake's One Dance, which featured Wizkid and Kyla, and which had held the top spot for 10 weeks.
Do nothing and win with the interview trivia game Don't Ask. Text the word WIN to 855-904-6231 to enter. Win radios, gift cards, wine bags, or even a celebrity voice on your voicemail. Text WIN to 855-904-6231 now to enter. Shut up, you mean I could get a...
In business, UK inflation leaps to 10-year high. British inflation surged to a 10-year high last month as household energy bills rocketed, according to data on Wednesday that will bolster expectations that the Bank of England will raise interest rates next month. Francis Maguire reports for Reuters.
Inflation surged to a 10-year high last month as household energy bills soared. That's according to data released Wednesday. Consumer prices rose by 4.2% on the year in October, beyond all forecasts and up from just over 3% in September. The National Statistics Office said household energy bills were the main driver. Gas prices were up by close to a third in the year to October. The soaring inflation means the Bank of England is now widely expected to raise rates at its December policy meeting. It would be the first of the world's major central banks to do so since the health crisis began. There were also other signs of inflation pressure in the UK data. Prices charged by factories rose more than expected, up 8% on the year. Manufacturers' input costs also jumped 13%, the most since 2008. Finance Minister Rishi Sunak said rising inflation was not just a British problem, with US price rises now above 6%. Sunak says the government will take action to offset the hit to spending power.
And in sports, West Indies to host 2022 ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup. For the first time, the West Indies will host the 2022 ICC Men's Under-19 Cricket World Cup. This is the 14th edition of the event, which showcases the future stars of the game. 16 teams will be traveling to the Caribbean to compete in 48 matches from January 14 to February 5th. The four host countries are Antigua and Barbuda, Guyana, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Trinidad and Tobago. The 16 teams competing will see hosts West Indies, Scotland, Australia, and Sri Lanka in Group D. And that was the news, entertainment, and sports with Sean Garrity. Be sure to stay tuned to this station for more news from around the world, locally, and the Caribbean.